Yo, I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. In this video, I'm going to give you guys a complete rundown of the final boss fight of the Ennead Expedition. There's a few tricks that you can do that's going to make your life a lot easier during this fight. So let's jump in here and let's take a look. One of the most important aspects of this fight starts before the fight even begins. You want to make sure that your team is communicating very well before the fight starts so that you can have 4 people underneath each appropriate pillar. That's very important for the second phase of this fight. Whenever the bird drops down, the bird's going to activate a big AoE phase and you need to be under your pillar in order to avoid a team wipe. So whenever you're fighting Ampu here, you want to make sure that Ampu is tanked in this corner. This is going to make your life a whole lot easier when fighting this boss, because whenever he does his charge phase, he's going to run into that pillar standing there in the corner. He's not going to run all around the map like a crazy boss. He's just going to ram into that pillar and he's going to stay right here confined in this area. So you can see the AoE or the trail of fire that he lays down there. Whenever that happens, just make sure to back up, try to range DPS. If you can't range DPS, if you're all melee, then just kind of wait until that goes away or reposition yourself before you re-engage and start DPSing again. One of the main mechanics that this boss has is the big knee slam or the big foot slam that activates the big AoE, and then a big slam that hits a like a line in front that knocks you out. It does a lot of damage. That ability right there hurts very bad. Make sure you avoid that. And then there's the big AoE. You can see it's very telling. He steps his leg up, he slams it down, and then the AoE happens. Make sure you're avoiding that one as well. As long as you tank him there in the corner, he's not going to run around crazy. He's going to bang his head against that one column every time, and then you'll be fine. You'll be able to DPS him down no problem. Next phase is the bird boss. When you're fighting the bird boss, just make sure you are DPSing down until about 3 bars. Once you get about 3 bars of health gone, that's whenever you're going to want to run underneath your pillar to start activating the pillar. It's a great idea, again, to have a little bit of ranged with you so that you can get to your pillar and range it down so that you can activate the pillar whenever the AoE phase starts. So right here, you see we're just going to continue to DPS the boss down. Then here in just a moment, I'm going to run underneath the pillar. We're going to start throwing hatchets at the boss to finish off the DPS to activate the first AoE phase. So here in just a second, the boss goes into the middle. Here's the AoE phase. We're going to disable the obelisk here, and all 4 of us you see had assigned spots. Made this so much easier. We just went to our pillar, we activated the pillars or the obelisks, and then we're able to avoid the phase and then continue on. One thing you need to be aware of is that big stun mechanic that you just seen happen to our tank right there. The laser beam that comes down on a player, if you see the laser beam that hits you, you want to make sure you take that away from your group, because if you are standing with your group, it's going to stun everybody in the vicinity. It's a rather long stun, so make sure that you just run off to the side, get stunned by yourself, and then you can run back into the fight and start DPSing the boss down again. Here, you don't necessarily have to be at range. Just make sure you DPS the boss down until about 3 bars. Whenever the boss gets to about 3 bars of health remaining, that's whenever you want to run back to your obelisk and then activate it again to avoid the team wipe or the big team AoE damage. And then this next phase, this is the part that's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Whenever you get the boss down to about 1 bar, you're going to want to make sure you have some diseases on your bar in the form of bile bomb or infected throw. You can see I'm running both here. Whenever you get the boss down to 1 bar, you're going to make sure that you disease this boss. Bile bomb it, infected throw it, whatever you need to do, just place as much disease on it as you can. This is going to prevent the second phase of that obelisk AoE mechanic that you just seen, because after you kill this boss, both bosses spawn back, and then you have to kill them relatively close together, or else they'll continue to spawn. You'll continue to have to kill them again. So if you kill one boss too soon, the other one's going to spawn back, and then you're just going to have to continue the fight. So you got to make sure you kill these bosses together. But right there, you see the bird in the middle. That's how you know you avoided the AoE phase. So now whenever the bird goes to the middle and it looks like it's AoEing, but nothing happens, you don't have to activate the obelisk. That phase is completely bypassed. So it avoids so much confusion, so much chaos in this fight, and now you can just easily DPS both bosses down without having to go reactivate the obelisks again. It's very important, very easy to do. Just apply some disease. The way that works is that the boss only triggers that mechanic whenever it has a certain amount of health. So if you disease the boss, whenever it revives itself, it's going to come back with too little health to then reactivate that mechanic. So that's kind of the purpose behind diseasing the boss. It's going to alleviate some of the healing or negate some of the healing that the boss has whenever it revives back. And whenever the boss revives back, it's going to be underneath the threshold of health to activate that mechanic. So you're going to avoid that section of the fight altogether, making this fight way easier and way less chaotic. You can then just focus on avoiding all of the other mechanics, DPS and the bosses down, and then you'll be able to finish it no problem. So I hope that mechanic or these tips helped you guys. The fight can be difficult with a pug group, but if you try to coordinate this a little bit, have some good communication before you go in here, you can complete this thing and knock it out no problem. That one disease mechanic is very important. It does save a lot of headache. So make sure you're using that. Make sure you take some bio bomb in there. Make sure you're using some disease and get it knocked out. But that will do it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. I hope this video helped you guys out. I know Ennead is a tough expedition for a lot of people. Hopefully that helps you complete the final boss. There's a couple of tricks in there that should make your life a little bit easier. Just tank that first boss in the corner. That makes things a lot easier for that phase. And then make sure you have all assigned to obelisks. That makes the fight a lot easier. And then just disease the boss at the end, and then you'll be able to do this thing no problem. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video or just like New World content in general, please make sure to like and subscribe. And of course, come hang out with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/BDLG. We're there every Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. CST. We do expeditions, we do PvP, we do all kinds of fun stuff in New World, and just hang out, talk about life in general. But thank you guys again for being here. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.